Welcome to CheckPoint.
We good?
Yeah, we good. Today, is there an imposter among us in this game of Fortnite? Seems sus. This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint, where I feel so close to you.
Like, spiritually?
No one has ever felt spiritually close to Beej.
Okay, wow, fuck off, I guess.
Remember when Epic looked at PUBG and said, we could do that, and then did it? We actually talked about it a bit after the show last week. Turns out that lawsuit quietly settled out of court, by the way. But regardless, Epic have done it again. Not get sued by PUBG Corp. In fact, it's unlikely they're going to get sued at all. But this time, they looked at Among Us and said, we could do that, and have done it, with a new mode called Imposters, where players can play Among Us. Or, I mean, it's werewolf or mafia or whatever, but it's pretty hard to deny that Fortnite is taking direct inspiration from the little space beans and all the digital additions that Among Us developer Innersloth brought to the game, especially when you look at the very similar map layout as noted by an Innersloth developer on Twitter. The developer, Innersloth, who has fewer employees than we do, said they're always open to collaborations and crossovers, something Fortnite does all of the time, but not this time, because why share money when they don't have to, probably.
On the good news tip, look out folks, I'm feeling smug. This week, Nintendo Switch software not only swept the top 10 titles in weekly Japanese sales, it dominated the top 30. You might be saying, wow, Beej, so what? That's only a week. How big a deal could that be? Well, you're right, Brad Strawman. Maybe I am getting a little too excited. After all, it's weekly news, so surely a top 30 title sweep has happened before. And in fact, it has. Precisely once before. Back in November 1988, to a little red and gold wonder console known as the Nintendo Family Computer. I call it the Famicom because we're best friends. Does this mean anything in the larger industry news? I mean, unless you think that no other game for any other system sold more in Japan last week than Super Mario Maker 2's 2,256 copies, doesn't qualify as a statement about the popularity of competing consoles or the relative lack of games for those consoles, then no, maybe it doesn't mean anything at all.
Ubisoft, who still haven't addressed all the ways that they're awful, has added what they are referring to as a Leon Kennedy skin for the Rainbow Six Siege operator, Lion. If I sound dubious, it's because this guy doesn't look like Leon. It looks like some weird mashup of Leon and Chris Redfield. Some kind of Creon. But then, back in March, they added a Jill Valentine skin to operator Zafia, and it doesn't look like Jill, it just looks like Zafia. So the skin is really just the operator wearing the costume. It's Zafia cosplaying as Jill. That's fine. So this Leon skin is just Lion cosplaying as Leon. Cute trick with the names, by the way. But normally, Lion looks like this, with his face hidden behind a mask. Is this the first time we're seeing his face and he just happens to look like a Creon? No. Because the first time we saw Lion's face was very recently in the cinematic trailer for Rainbow Six's Extraction mode, and it's this, which ain't this guy. Whose face is this? As far as I'm concerned, Creon Kenfield is canon.
Electronic Arts has recently backpedaled on their decision to remove Ultima Underworld 1 and 2, Syndicate Plus, and Syndicate Wars from the GOG storefront, and have offered an apology to everyone, promising they'll do better at listening to the player perspective. Is it weird that the worst thing I've heard all week about the back-to-back winners of the worst company in America, which, let's be honest, really just always means the world, doesn't it, is that they took away Ultima from us nerds and that they're already apologizing for it? Like, holy shit, dude, have some pride in yourself. You ran your employees through 100-hour-a-week death crunches. You acquired and folded studios like laundry. You squeezed loot boxes into games so hard that nations started drafting legislation. You've got a crown of evil to uphold. Right now, Activision Blizzard, Ubisoft, and coming up next on CheckPoint, Riot Games are in a three-way race to steal your title as the worst company, and if you don't start finding new and innovative ways to destroy people's lives, you're only going to make the top 10 like Monsanto or Goldman Sachs or the Trump Organization. Shit, if you need ideas, maybe start stealing games wholesale from indie devs and crowbarring them into your products. That'll definitely give you a boost in the polls.
Last month, I didn't even know what the DFEH was, and now it's like I'm seeing them everywhere. And I don't think that's just the Bader-Meinhof effect. The California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, or DFEH if you're nasty, has had to publicly remind Riot Games that they're supposed to tell their employees that said employees are allowed to talk to government investigators without fear of retaliation or reprisal. This is something the DFEH told Riot to do back at the beginning of June, and they are now, whatever the legal terminology is, for super annoyed that Riot hasn't done it yet. In their statement, the DFEH said they were, quote, alarmed by language in Riot's settlement and separation agreements that suggested employees could not voluntarily and candidly speak with the government about sexual harassment and other violations, which, yeah, is pretty alarming. In a statement to Polygon, Riot has since shown internal emails that confirm they are now telling current employees of their rights, and that, quote, notices are being sent to former employees to confirm that Riot's severance agreements have never in any way prohibited speaking to government agencies, despite the DFEH alleging that Riot had really given the impression that their severance agreements definitely did prohibit that. Particularly considering Riot employees recently showed public support for the Activision Blizzard walkout, this is yet another bad look for Riot. Oh, it wasn't Bader-Meinhof, it was Dunning-Kruger.
Wait, are you sure it isn't the Aharonov-Bohm effect?
No, that's a quantum mechanical phenomenon in which an electrically charged particle is affected by electromagnetic potential.
Well, maybe it's the Averk-Johnson effect?
What? No, that's an economic... Do you just have the Wikipedia list of effects up?
No, don't be ridiculous. I think that you're experiencing the Deary T-Mobile effect.
How are you on T-Mobile in Canada?
I messed up. Coming up, Castlevania Grimoire of Souls is coming to Apple Arcade sometime this year. Unless you live in Canada, in which case you missed it when they soft launched it on iOS exclusively in our home and native land back in 2019 and axed it almost a year later. Sorry we didn't tell you, but we are a miserable pile of secrets in healthcare.
Today, welcome to CheckPoint. Whoops, nope.
I'm reading the wrong script.
I'm reading the wrong part of the script. Hi. Ace recently was in the cinematic trailer for Rainbow Six Sixes. Wow, I got really bungled up there. What do we want to talk about?
Oh, this.
Oh yeah, right.
This is important that we have done this thing.
It is. It is. I can touch your human form.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah. It feels strange.
This is the slow process of coming back to normal for us. It doesn't mean that everything is coming back to the way that it was.
No, currently we're operating on we're cool with two people being in close proximity, assuming those two people are comfortable with it. None of this is a company mandate.
Yeah.
We try not to do that.
And if you watch,
don't like to make people uncomfortable.
And if you're watching other stuff on our channel, like you used to, like when we would do AFK and a bunch of other stuff in Studio C, where we'd have multiple people. Multiple is like two, right?
4 or 5.
Yeah, and we have 4 or 5 people or 8 people doing a thing. We're not there yet.
Yeah,
we're hoping to work towards that.
Get there, we'll get there. But yeah, right now we're on 2 people. So like, Let's Nope this past week on the Twitch channel that we had 2 people. Next week, Watch and Play returns.
Nice.
So I'm personally very excited about that. We don't have like
it's not a schedule.
We don't have a forward schedule about that. We're gonna because it's we don't want to push things. So like Alex wants to see how he's doing with streaming. So we'll do Watch and Play next week and maybe maybe we'll get a schedule for more of that in the future. But yeah.
And we know that everyone else who are doing streams from home or are doing 2 people streams, they're discussing it. And yeah, unless something goes terribly wrong in British Columbia, we're on a slow march back to the way things are.
Yeah. I feel awkward because it's like, people will often say stuff, like, well, I hope everyone's got their vaccinations, right?
Oh, we love needles in Canada.
Yeah. But it's also like, BC privacy laws are very strict and weird. And frankly, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say, like, oh, I can tell you that Beej is or is not vaccinated. I truly don't know what I'll tell you. I am. I'm 2 weeks out from my second vaccination.
And
obviously.
I'll tell you that I'm about a month out from my second vax.
Yeah, I'm more than 2 weeks at this point. But but I want to say stuff like, oh, don't worry about it because, but I don't want to talk about other people's vaccination status. You'll just have to assume that we're doing everything correctly.
Yeah.
I think that's legally safe.
Yes, I think that kind of covers everything. Now that it's on video, us talking about it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we're doing our best, and we hope you're doing your best too.
Thank you for your patience. Please don't ask, hey, what about XYZ content? Don't be like, well, what about this? What about that? Just, we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Probably. If we don't bug us about it.
Yeah.
We appreciate your enthusiasm.
Keep wearing those masks.
Cool it, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got.
That sounds good to me.
Cool.